Hi, my name is Chris. I'm the Rustic Caveman. Welcome to the office, man cave, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, um, today's video we're going to talk about a couple of problems that I have, and we're going to talk about 2 or 3 solutions that I've used to overcome that particular problem. I am one of those type of people who likes to create lists. I make lists and I try to pre-plan and I try to break everything down into, functionable tasks. And then I promptly lose the piece of paper or lose the idea that I was working on to do that task or to do that project. And then when I get ready to do it, I just go out and do something, normally not getting done all the things I had planned to get done, simply because I just don't think about it, don't pay attention to the list if I have it, and that type of thing. Or wake up in the morning, I'm just not in the mood to work on that particular project and work on something else. Now my personal work week is Monday through Friday. I've got the typical 8 to 6 job. I am a enterprise level programmer, pretty much in the Microsoft space, and that's what I do for a living. So that leaves Saturday and Sunday, just like everybody else, as being my actual work days to get done with anything here on the farmstead. So all through the week I've got these ideas of things I want to do, and by the time the weekend shows up, I'm not up to do any of it. So I just kind of get done what I can get done, and video what I can video, and edit what I can edit, and that's pretty much it. We're getting into spring, and it is time to buckle down and get organized and get some things done. Now, there's a couple of tools that I've used in the past that work with varying success, and we'll talk about a couple of those. And there's also tools that I use for when I have the store, trying to keep those projects going. Me and the wife, basically breaking things down. She gets done what she can get done. I get done what I can get done, and that's it. So we use those projects in a very low level. Those tools in a very low level manner. As a software developer, a lot of the companies that I work with have a tendency to use one particular tool. We'll get into that as well, and it works out really well, and it's quite customizable, shall we say. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to go ahead and shrink me down to the corner here. This is the video I was editing last week, so I will turn that off. Come back to that later. One of the tools that we use is called todolist, and it's basically that. It's a to-do list. The fantastic thing about this thing is you can load it on your phone. You can dock it to the side of Outlook as a panel on Outlook, and you can use it as just the web pages I have here. And it's pretty good. I mean, you can add some tasks. Wake up, do something, etc., etc., and it basically creates a list. And then when you've got some completed, you can turn it off. Now you've got capabilities of giving more detail to these. I mean, I can click on it, it opens up. You do have comments. If you want to get to the point where you can actually send something to somebody, assign somebody else to a task, you can create small teams. There is a paid version and a free version. I've used both. The free version, for what I needed it for, was just fine. Didn't get too advanced with it. If you're going to get to that advanced, you might want to consider ramping up to like the next level of project management. So I'll go and close out this one, and it's also on the phone. You can complete them. You can rearrange them. That's what these little dots over here means. If you have a big list, you can add more to it. You can set it up to different types of projects. You can create projects in here and assign those tasks under those projects. It's rudimentary, but it does the job. I mean, if what you're doing is just basically a list of tasks and you and that's it, then this really works out well. It's one of the best programs that I've used for that. It's also fantastic for trying to keep track of a shopping list. So, because that's another thing that I have a problem doing is I have a list for shopping, and as soon as I walk in the store, it's gone. Forget all about it. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out what it was that was on the list. Anyway, so to-do list, Todolist. It's a fantastic app. Works great for what it is. Next we're going to talk about is Good Day. Good Day is like the next level for project management. You can set up projects, and right now I don't have any projects in here, but you can set up projects and do whatever you want. Let's create another task, the task name. You can select which project it's into, like demo projects, sure, whatever. And create a task. Okay, shows up. Now the task is there. It's assigned to me, and that's pretty much it. I mean, let me go ahead and close it. Now it shows up on the list. You can change various aspects about it. Get back to projects. Is the demo project? Is the new project? We're going to call this new project a task list. Oh, already got it. Submit, and we're done. But basically, it's like taking the to-do list to the next level, where you can assign a list to a project and work through things that way. And it does a pretty good job of managing those type of situations. That's another tool that I used when I had the store. It worked out pretty well for a basic project management system. And any one of these you want me to go into more detail, just leave that in the comments. I'll be more than happy to break down how I've used these things, how to use them, whatever. Just a simple little tutorial would be. I'd be happy to do it. Just tell us what you want. What I settled on actually is Jira. Jira is actually a software that I've used in multiple companies to track the different tasks, track bugs, track issues across a wide range of projects. Now, Jira is like the next step up from Good Day. For things to be broken down in Jira, you have the project. Within the project, you have epics. Now, an epic would basically be a block of tasks that is assigned that goes along with a particular function. So you've got the project. In this case, we're looking at the project of farm maintenance. And in this farm maintenance project, I have a number of epics. On this screen here, I have containment fence as an epic. Machinery and maintenance is an epic. The garden expansion is an epic. And so those are blocks of tasks within that project. And each one of those epics has the task. For example, this task here, move the trees from the roof of the barn. I haven't done it yet, so I'll skip to the next one. Install the gate. Okay, I've got that one done. So, install the gate. Now I'm just using this right here. I don't have a whole lot of detail written into the comment, but it's available. I mean, you've got the room here to type in whatever you want. You can break this down into smaller and smaller tasks, and they just show up across the top here. Now this first one, because it's purple, tells me it's an epic. I can change the epic it's attached to if I need to, but I've already got these all set up. And that's basically it. Now I can assign it to me, I can assign it to the wife, I can assign it to dad, whoever. I can break this up into the workflow. Right now it's got the standard, I mean it's basically at default right now. I got to do, in progress, and done. Now I can break that up to, in our software world you've got development, and you've got QA, and then you've got then you've got production, and then you've got done, You may have SME review. I mean, there's a lot of different parts and pieces you can add to the workflow, and you can add more items to that workflow if you need to. For me, I'm either going to do it, I am doing it, or it's done. So I will stick with the default 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and change it here, done, because it is done, and I'm going to close it. As you can see in my dashboard here, it moved over to done. Now, something else to talk about with this is there's the concept of when are you going to get things done. In this particular case, for Jira, for a lot of project management, it's called a sprint. So this sprint, which I've assigned to be 2 weeks long, this sprint this is the block of work that I want to get done within this period of time. So like I mentioned before, I've only got 2 Sundays and 2 Saturdays really to work on it. If I can work on something in the evening some nights, that's great. Most likely I'm not going to be able to. But if I can, it's here. So I can also, when I get up on Saturday morning, I can pull this list up and I can say, this is the list I can get done. Maybe I look outside, it's raining, and I say, well, okay, I'm not going to get that done, so let's look at my backlog. All right, that's another term. I'm going to look at my backlog and see what of these tasks that are in the backlog can I get done while it's raining. Well, let's see here. In this particular case, it's not a whole lot. Well, I can go buy a wire and post, get that done. And again, you see each one of the epics is identified here: machinery and maintenance. You got containment, fence, garden expansion, that type of thing. Maybe there's some stuff in the greenhouse that we can do or Dad can do. Get some planting done. Maybe it's time to harvest the. It's time to harvest, or we expect to be able to harvest the spinach or the Swiss chard right now, which actually also got done yesterday. But anyway, the problem I would have, where I would, have this grandiose idea of things I want to get done, this summer. Now I have them in a list. It's in the backlog, and I could just say, okay, I'm not going to get this done. Let's look at the backlog and see if there's anything else there that I can get done. It helps me organize in my head what I can get done, when I can get it done. Now, another side of this is, go back up here to projects, view all projects. We also have this one right here. It's called Dad's List. Now, there's a lot of things that Dad wants to get done. That's, is normal. So, graduate from rehab. Hopefully that happens this Friday. Install the bars on the toilets. I need to get that done before Friday when he gets home, so he can be able to get off the toilet. Anyway, so there's some things here. There's some stuff that he has on his list that need to get done, and I'll just go over and look at his project board and see what's available, what needs to be done, and if there's anything I can jump in and take care of for it. And he can do the same. He can look at my project list and say, oh, I can take care of this while he's working, and that's it. And the same case goes for the wife. You can look at the list and see what needs to be done, add new things to the list. Everybody has the capability of adding to the list. Everybody has the capability of finishing a project or moving a task over to in progress or completing it. Everybody has the capability. And so it brings all of the things that need to happen to keep this place moving all together into one application. And that one application allows us to keep track of it. Now, I could take everything that we have here, all of these different projects, I could take all of them and I could make all of them their own epics. animals meat production. That's a project that that basically contains everything we need to do to um, redo, expand, maintain the chickens, installing fencing for. We need to get some goats to help take care of some of these, some of this brush out here, and then we'll turn that into a breeding program, and where we're creating meat goats and selling them as a source of revenue here. Again, the dad list, farm maintenance has multiple epics in it. The garden center, that's a short-term project. I probably could have done that one as an epic, but instead I decided to make it its own project. You'll see that show up on our channel, on the channel here, probably in about another month or so. Household. This is mainly Sherry's, my wife's project, and it's all the things that she wants to get done within the house. There's a lot of stuff, so she's going through and kind of cleaning and organizing. We're trying to get a handle on all the canned foods that mom and dad have made over the years. Sort through what's good, what's not good, actually bring it out to the forefront so we can actually see it and then eat it. Because a lot of times it gets buried behind something and then we forget about it for 5 or 6 years. So that's one of her things that she's doing. Obviously, the Rusty Caveman, that's my channel. I am trying to come up with new ideas and different things that I can do on the channel. So that's its own project. Things like going to Ash Cave, going to Old Man's Cave, and doing some video stuff there. The warehouse conversion, we are starting to work on trying to clean out the warehouse and get it set up different than the way it is. So it's its own project. It's also its own budget and everything else like that. That's a whole different thing. Most of the work that we're doing is coming out of the farm maintenance because that's where I put most of the work in here. So let's see what else is done. Clean area behind the barn. I had some stuff piled up back there. I just needed to get it knocked over the edge so I could, it's just wood, so it can rot, kind of part of the landscape. I built some planters. Well, I drug them over to set them up as planters. They're about half done, so I'll drop those in there. Move the certificate bushes, that's not done. Support fencing in the garden, that's not done yet. That'll get done actually probably one of the evenings. And removing the trees, it's 3 o'clock now. That probably isn't happening today. Looks like today's going to be nothing but budget, nothing but video. But anyway, so that kind of gives you an idea of what we're using to kind of control or maintain our projects, our lists, things that we got to get done. That's kind of how we use to pull it all together. Now, Jira is a free for 10 users. You can create a bunch of projects with it. I mean, there's some limitations of what you can do with it, but for managing a small farm, basically, and the projects involved with that, it's more than enough. As time goes on, I will expand these things out. If I ever decide to get back into doing side work programming, I'll probably run that through here as well because it ties in really well with a lot of the programming tools. And that's it. So again, the sprint is called April 22nd to May 6th. That's the sprint, and that sprint is a 2-week block of time. Trying to get all of these issues here done in the block of time. If I need to add anything to it, then I go over here to the backlog and I look down the list in the backlog. This one right here, it doesn't have an epic, so I'll go ahead and give it an epic. So the epic on this one would be machinery and maintenance. That's removing oil or sap from the windshield of Dad's truck. Doesn't show up until it rains and he runs the windshield wipers over it. So anyway, you can prioritize. For example, I want this one to move to the top of the backlog list. I can click it and drag it and bring it up there. It's a cutesy little thing. It does come in handy. You can assign points to a task. For example, I would expect that this task is going to take me stack bags of soil. That's going to take me a half an hour. So, I can go down here and I can assign story points. Probably still have to configure that because I don't really use it. But you can assign story points to it, and you can manage time that way. So, the next one on the list there is change oil in the push mowers. That's probably, we've got the push mower, we got there's a couple of weed eaters out there. There's a couple of other push type toys, rototillers, that type of stuff. All of it needs their oil change at the beginning of the year. So that could take 2 to 3 hours. And I can assign points to that. And I can manage my day, or I can figure out my day from there. I know that this is going to take a half hour, this is going to take 2 or 3 hours, so I can select out of this list what it would take for, I've got 6 hours to get work done, and I can figure out what it's going to be. That's another way that you can use it. We're not using it for that, but it could come in handy if for example, if I was to hire somebody to come and help work on the farm, then I need to be able to give them 8 hours, 2 hours, depending on what their work day is. I can give them 2 to 8 hours of work, and I can manage that by the story points on here. And then I can give him or them or whatever a license, or not really a license, a login, so that they can log in and see the projects. And then if they get done early and still got some time, they can go back in the backlog and grab something out for themselves from there, or whatever. So there's a couple of channels that I watch where something like this would actually come in handy for them. But if they want a tutorial on how to actually use this a little bit better, I'd be more than happy to create that for them. But this is the tool that we're using. Creating a new issue is really easy. I'm going to go up there and click create. Farm project is there. Give it a summary of this is a new task. Okay, and it will show up down at the bottom of my paper thing here. So get rid of this little thing. Yeah, you can't really see it that well. Oh yeah, I guess you can. Okay. So this is the new task. I'll go ahead and click on it, and I will assign it an epic. And this one I will assign to the garden expansion. Really that easy. And then if I want to bring it into this sprint, I can grab it and just drop it in the sprint somewhere. Yep, gotta confirm it. It's in the sprint. And then I can go take a look at the sprint. Let's go to the board. Alright, and on this board, it now should show up somewhere. Yep, there it is. This is a new task. So, that's all there is to it. Questions? Comments? Leave them in the comments. I appreciate it. My name is Chris. I'm the Rusty Caveman, and we are basically bringing back an old farmstead back under production little by little. And this is what this channel does. So, if you enjoy it, please subscribe, like, comment. I love the comments. Tell me what you think. If you want to see more of these little videos where I talk about the various tools that we're using, let me know in the comments. If you want me to take a look at one of these tools or do a video on one of these tools in greater detail, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to do it. They're a lot of fun. So, yeah, just let me know. Y'all have a great day, and I will talk to y'all later. Thank you.